The Quick Snap is presented by FWF, dependable solutions for the pros since 1866.
Welcome back to episode 7 of the Quick Snap podcast. Another Victory Monday here in New England. Man, we went into this week saying we're going to know a lot about this team when they come back from New Orleans, and they went out and did it. Another phenomenal game from Drake Maye. I mean, a lot to be excited about in New England. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to be excited to be a fan, and it makes coming in to sit in these chairs a lot more fun, talking about games like this. And, look, I think right now not to compare us to anybody else, but, we're number one in the AFC East right now. We're on the rise, and then I look at our group, right?
Our podcast.
Our podcast, yeah. We're on the rise, NBC Sports. We got a real studio. And look, as Coach Vrabel came in, like, head coach has to make tough decisions, right? And, he's got to make the decisions he sees best for the football team. And unfortunately, we had to make that decision. And that's hard, because you got people you love and care for and are part of your group. But then they do something that hurts the team.
Yeah, it does hurt the team.
And that's not what this is about. And you can't do that. And, unfortunately, our producer, Danny, took a 4-day weekend in Nantucket. And, look, we live in New England, Hoy. What did Coach Belichick always say?
Don't call me and say there's bad weather.
So
you live in and play in New England.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
I braved. Delta got me back through the nor'easter on Sunday night just to make sure I'd be here for this podcast.
Of course, because you care.
I care.
And it's important
to you. I moved my flight up.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, producer Danny couldn't do that. But fortunately enough, we went out on the free agent market, waiver wires.
We had a little cap space available.
This
guy's a little more expensive.
Yeah, he's a little bit more expensive, but we brought in someone that knows football, covers the team. Welcome, Phil Perry, to the show, our new producer. Thanks, Phil.
Fellas, let me tell you what, this is an absolute honor to be a part of the Quick Snap podcast. This thing is absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how proud I am to be a part of this group. And it is the parallels between what you guys are doing and what the Patriots are doing on the field right now are real. And I just have to put it to you, as guys who have sat in those seats literally right now and the guys who have been on the field, how important is it for, the behind-the-scenes people? Make sure they're on.
Oh my God!
time,
I mean, that's what makes the people
go. Details there whenever you need them. How critical is that? Because it feels like I could be that guy for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't do it without equipment managers, trainers,
the meal room,
all the support staff, and those were people that showed up on time, no matter what. Were there before us, worked later than us, and you had to depend on them. And they didn't do it for themselves; they did it for you. And I think we found someone in that you could do it.
Next man up philosophy, Phil. He was just about to go hit the bench press in the weight room, and we called him. We said, dude, we don't have a producer. Yeah. You know a lot about the Patriots.
Phil, this is my seat. This is my show. What are you doing on my? This is the Quick Snap podcast. I'm just trying to fill in. I'm sorry. You have your own NBC podcast.
What
Brian,
the heck,
David? I'm here. You think I would miss this? The Pats are 4-2, first place in the AFC East. The road to San Francisco, Super Bowl 59 runs through Foxborough. I would never miss this.
Is this AI?
I would never miss this.
AI is out of control. I don't know if this is real. All right. Phil, we still love you.
Phil Perry's the greatest. The only reason I somewhat know what I'm talking about is because I listened to him talk about football.
There we go.
Have you been here the whole time?
Did you know about this?
No.
No, I'm saying, did Danny know we were going to mess with him and put Phil in?
I don't know. It sounds like David doesn't know I was here an hour early, and I got the first ferry out of Nantucket at 7 a.m. I'm sitting in the control room listening to him come up with this crazy plan about adding Phil Perry to the mix. He doesn't know I'm listening here in the back and helping pull strings to help David pull this off. But little does he know, I'm here. I would never miss a Quick Snap recording, David.
Danny, should I admit that I knew too? And when David came up with the idea, I kind of egged him onto it.
You knew about this? Oh my! The sabotage!
Hoyer called me at 7:30 in the morning. He goes, are you on the ferry?
I wanted to make sure.
I am.
He said, don't tell David. And then we were doing a little pre-quick snap driving range session, and David's like, dude, what if we get Phil? I was like, oh, that'd be a great idea. And I was hoping Danny would be here on time to cut him off. You guys, well played. Good job,
I feel like Denzel
Phil.
Washington and Training Day. You could do this to me.
I wouldn't
have all you guys in Pelican Bay.
I'm not going to lie. This is my favorite opening of any Quick Snap episode to date.
I'm here, David. I'm here. Whether
I
you
love
like
it.
or
I'm
not.
proud of you. That is awesome. But
Thank you, Phil.
Now, I wasn't really that upset with you because it happens, and I just thought it would be funny. Now I just feel like an asshole.
Yeah, but that was great. That's
Hey,
great for
I had to
TV
get you
right there.
back. I think the fans will be upset Phil Perry's not on the show. It's
Hey,
but hey, it's me.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I was a little nervous not having Danny back there.
I know,
You're
the
like
direction.
my North Star, Danny.
yep.
I do appreciate that. I do
All
appreciate
right, well, let's get into it.
Let's
Yeah.
talk football.
Let's do
get
it.
into it. That was great. That was fun. You guys got me, assholes. All right. Well, look, I think going to the game, obviously the quarterback shows up again.
Yep.
I mean, this is unbelievable what he's putting together right now. And I really liked how the team started, and the defense kind of going both sides here. The defense, Spencer Rattler played really good.
I was going to tell you, like, I was sitting there watching, making my notes. Like, the Saints' offense was way better than I expected.
Yes.
And credit to Spencer Rattler, but also you got to remember Kellen Moore's the head coach. I mean, he just was the offensive coordinator for Philly, winning the Super Bowl. He knows what he's doing, and so it was one of those games where, like, they were moving the ball, but the defense was kind of a bend but don't break, hold them to field goals. Our offense is scoring touchdowns, and I came away really impressed with the Saints' offense. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, and I mean, look, they tried Spencer early with the corner blitz. He hit him, made him pay, but they ended up, holding them to 3. And it's hard to lose games in the NFL when you hold teams in the red zone. And we've both been in those games where you look at the red zone stats and you're kind of like, we had all this yards, all this success. Why? How did we lose the game? And then you go to it and it's 1 for 4 in the red zone versus 3 for 4 on the other side. And you might have kicked 3 field goals, but that's, whatever it is. 18 points or whatever it is. And so, it's just the Pats were able to respond. I thought what the Pats did the best job of from a team standpoint is how they responded to adversity throughout the game.
Whether it was the refs.
Yes, refs.
Whether it was some bad plays.
They got down.
Like, to me, it was huge. We were texting about the drive, like the bad snap. Boom, you were rolling. All of a sudden, you go for it on 4 down. It's a bad snap. You lose 14 yards, but they respond right after they get the ball back and go down and score. And so you're seeing a level of maturity, not just in the play, but how they respond to that adversity, which is what you love to see.
Yeah, and I think, if we were going to talk about 2 areas right now that are bad or we would consider they need to clean up, one is penalties.
Yeah, they lead the league in penalties.
They lead the league in penalties.
And they're getting away with it right now, but you and I both know, like...
It will catch up to you.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about some of these phantom ghost calls, like the two on Diggs.
Ridiculous.
The first one, I have no idea. And the one that was the big play to Pop, and I don't understand as a ref how you could throw that.
Can we just talk about it for a second? Because I did read, sometimes the refs get interviewed after the game, and they asked them, and they said, well, technically he was blocking, and the ball hadn't been thrown yet. I'm like, blocking? He's trying to get off of press coverage.
I would say this.
And then they said they had to wait for the ball to be thrown, and once it's thrown, then they could say, okay, that's OPI because he was blocking while the ball was in the air. It was ridiculous.
I would say this about that. Let's say Drake, because he kind of scrambled a little bit, hip hop.
Yep.
Let's say he just threw it to Diggs because Diggs was on the, high out of bounds, throwaway because Diggs is on the sideline.
Yep.
I don't think there should have been a penalty on either guy.
No.
They're both entitled to their ground. We've heard these rules explained to us in training camp. But from a referee standpoint, especially that call, it's inconsequential to the play.
I know. It's not even he's throwing it the other way.
It wasn't a swing pass. It wasn't anything like that. And I've had refs bring that up to me on a call. They didn't call it, and they said, hey, the ball, it wouldn't have mattered on the play. It was close. Yeah. But if the ball is ran behind you, we're going to have to throw the flag. And it's almost like even the Greg Rousseau play to start the game last night. Like, Greg Rousseau being a little line, it's the first play of the game.
Yep.
And they called him for lining up in the neutral zone. I didn't see the angle, but to me, it's just like some of these calls. And I will say this, the more rules the NFL implements, the harder it does, in defense of the refs, the harder it does get to officiate. And then the last one, the push off they called. Yeah. How I've always understood the rule, which we have refs come every year in training camp, the NFL sends film, they explain the rules. As long as you don't extend, right? it's not a penalty. And I was watching it, and in live action, it looked like he did. And then I went back and watched it. I mean, he's got him. There's no doubt he has his hand on him. But he never extends because the ball is thrown so perfectly. He literally just turns his hand and catches the ball. So I don't really.
We always talked with remember Gronk was the greatest at it because they would always use the term chicken wing.
Yeah.
Gronk got so good because he was so physical. He would just kind of go like this, and it wouldn't be any extension. It would create that separation. But I was so disappointed that got called because literally, and I texted you guys. I think I literally was watching that play and to myself out loud said, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
That play by Drake Maye, the stepping up in the pocket, they're grabbing at his shirt. He to me, one of the best things he does, and he did it last year as a rookie, he's probably one of the top 3 or 4 deep go ball throwers in the league. He has the proper amount of height, the proper amount of distance, and to drop that in the bucket with everything going on around him, I mean, that might be my favorite Drake Maye throw of his career at this point, and it gets called back for a ticky-tack foul.
Yeah, and on Drake Maye, I hate when people ask me about the quarterback play because I played O-line for since I was 6 years old. But yeah, I mean, I have an idea. But they asked me on the pregame show, what's one area I thought Drake could improve on? Mm-hmm. And I said his pocket awareness and pocket movement.
Yeah, well, he did. This might have been his best game yet.
I was watching it. It made me feel good about myself because I said it, and then it came to fruition there.
You're like the Tony Romo of pregame.
But he that was an area I thought he could take a next step in. And we've talked, even I think it was on our text, you said all quarterbacks love throwing from outside the pocket.
Yeah, because there's nothing in front of you.
But guys like you and Tom and other quarterbacks were limited in what they could do. Yeah. No offense.
Yep.
But, all his big throws this week came from inside the pocket. So, I go back to things sitting in meetings with Bill where he would say, okay, I think about if we were playing Drake Maye after the Buffalo week, what's one thing Bill would say? We got to keep him in pocket. Yeah. Make him throw from the pocket.
Yep.
Now he's showing
push the center of the pocket.
Yeah, and now he's showing he can do both.
Yep.
And so hats off to him. The last area that I really think is cause for improvement and concern, which is pretty obvious, is the run game.
Yep.
And I was looking forward this week to talk to you about it because sure, everyone says all O-linemen love run game. We do. We love to run the ball. We want to run the ball. But I just want to, because I know how I think it affects quarterbacks, the run game, but how does it for you affect the run game and change quarterback play?
It settles the game down, right? Yep. I think the last thing that any of us want to do, and this is the reality, is you never want to go in the game and say, we're going to have to drop back pass and throw it 48
I wouldn't want to do it as a
because the defense, they have a different mentality when they know that's happening. Yep. And I think the one thing about the running game is, and I do think even though they're not having success, Josh is not straying away from it. He's still running the ball, and we haven't gotten one. There's a few plays where I watch where it's this close for them to pop a long run, but he's doing a good job sticking with it because at least still gives the defense, they have to honor it. And there was a few plays they ran, the one back power that you and I ran so much, and it set up the counter hot pass. Yep. And Drake did a tremendous job. A lot of times we've seen that go to Gronk or Hunter over the years. They covered it, and he got back to the curl, threw it to, I believe it was Mac Hollins. So he's getting through the progression, but the play action set that up. The run game set that up. And so the first touchdown of the game, we had that protection when we played. Yeah. The half roll set up, but teams didn't really honor it because we didn't have quarterbacks that were a threat to run. So you see, and it timed up perfectly, Drake rolls, and as he goes to set up, Pop breaks it to the corner, gets the free safety to overplay the top, and now the back end of the field is wide open. Drake does a good job stepping up. The linebacker's coming at him full speed, but he trusts it, lets it go. Pop does the rest. I mean, those are aspects of the offense that may have always been there, but they didn't get as much play.
No, we didn't,
because you weren't going to get the reaction that they're getting now. And because Drake has been so good at throwing on the run, now you set him out there on the run, pull it up, and throw it back across the field, which a lot of people would say that's a West Coast play. But really, I mean, I get a little frustrated when people say, the Patriots offense, they don't throw the ball deep. Well, Drake Maye is the best deep ball thrower in the NFL right now. Josh is about what's the defense do? How can we attack it? How do I use my players to do it? And he's got a guy who loves to throw the ball deep and does it really well. And so you see that being implemented more and more.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting, I kind of make notes each week and things I think, whatever, are good, bad, or indifferent. And at the start of my notes, I put the run game and I wrote some stuff down. But the first thing I wrote was finish and put a bunch of exclamation points. And then I heard Bradbury yesterday in his press conference kind of allude to this. And, he didn't use the word finish. He phrased it like the O-line has to take more responsibility, which I agree. And I think it's the right thing to say because I've heard some people bring up this EPA maybe or some
expected play.
Yeah, like the running back. Yeah. Danny, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it's expected points average.
Points average.
Yeah, and it's like how everything, the GPS is on everyone.
Yep.
The running back should get certain amount of yards. But I'm not a big fan of saying, oh, it's the running back's fault. Mm-hmm. In O-line play, it is on you to get the running game going. And what he's talking about, he's talking about not letting your guy make the tackle. And I'm watching the run game, and people might say, oh, it's not close, or I don't want to hear it's close. But the truth is, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And they are sometimes one guy away from having a big run. And that big run might be 12 yards. It might be 15. They ran a little toss to Antonio against Buffalo, Gibson, and it was the backside linebacker kind of got him for like 5 or 6 yards. If not, he's one-on-one with the safety, and those plays are toss-ups. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm betting money on the running backs. Maybe not to score because they might slow down. Another guy might get them, but it's going to be an explosive play. There was a few of those this week, where it's guys not being on the right angles, which is hard, especially younger players, because the game's moving a lot faster. And, it's – and I don't want to sit there and critique their technique because I don't know what's being taught. It's probably different than what I was taught. I believe in what I was taught when, me and you start our high school football program and our coaching.
Come over to Zavarian with me.
I'm gonna teach what I believe in, but that doesn't mean it's the only right way to do things.
Yep.
And so it's hard.
And Doug Marrone, by his own right,
Doug Marrone is a great
offensive
O-line coach. Yep. So, it's hard to sit there and say, "Oh, the technique's bad," but it just sometimes they're not fully connected. And
would you say? Let me ask you this question because I would say the pass protection has been phenomenal, and we go back to Drake Maye and his pocket presence. I think a lot of it has to do with the trust in the offensive line, but also the scheme of the protections that they use this year as opposed to last year. Would you say for a young offensive line that's coming together, you got 2 rookies on the left, new center, Onwenu is really the only guy who's been here in this system, Morgan Moses on the right.
He hasn't been in it that long.
How much harder is it to be on the same page in the running game as opposed to in the passing game?
It's different. I think it is harder in the run game at times.
Because of double teams and stuff like that, right?
Working together, how guys are going to fit, how guys are going to react. Honestly, in the pass game, it's more of like you're not working with multiple people, and they blitz and do different things, but the run game, to me, the picture changes real fast at times. And, I think the blame on everything is a combination of, I'm going to put it on the coaches. Like Josh and Doug have to do a better job, whether that's schematically, teaching it, getting guys in the right positions, guys' strengths and weaknesses, which this is all new to this group. And then the players have to do a better job. And that includes the O-line, the backs, and everybody. It's all tied in together. And, it's one of those things, like you said, it settles the game down. And look, I hope Drake Maye does this all year.
Yeah, me too.
But what's the reality?
Yeah, the reality is you're going to play better defenses. They're going to say, screw the run, let's take away the pass. And I think I texted you guys, like, if they get this run game going, it's going to be lethal.
Well,
I mean the reality is, like, if they get the running game going, and they pair it with the pass game that Drake Maye is running right now, like the defense, I mean, even to this point, Josh is keeping them so off balance. And like I said, the running game isn't going for 150 yards, but they're having to honor it. Like you were texting, like, man, we got to get rid of this pump draw.
Well, I love the pump draw, but we ran it twice. And
they did, but it also set up a play-action pass. Now, granted, they blitzed, and Mondre picked the guy up, and Drake ran for like 25 yards. But also, like, the single-back power set up the pass play. So I see a lot of marrying together the run game with the play-action. And so that's why you have to stay committed. And honestly, like, you start breaking some of these runs, the defense is going to basically say, we don't know what to do. We can't cover. We can't blitz. We can't stop the run. I think you're right. If they get the running game going, this offense becomes one of those offenses that can really do it all.
Yeah, and something I saw was interesting. The Patriots have played an 8-man box like 50% of the time. So teams are right now scheming, however it may be. Now, that might change this week, but are scheming to stop the run game, which makes sense. Like a younger quarterback, new system, let's make him beat us. And he's showing that he can do that now. But you look at it, 333 yards, right? Only 73 of those yards were rushing. So think about what this offense can be when that gets up to 100, 125, 150. You know, you're talking 400-plus yards of offense easily. And the one big area that I know probably is driving Josh insane, and it drives me insane, is negative runs. And that is a staple of a Josh McDaniels coach offense is, look, not every run play is going to be 4 yards. That is an efficient run, we've always said, and that's just not the reality. But 6 runs for losses is tough. It's a tough way.
I don't know this off the top of my head, but I feel like Mac's rookie year, we didn't have like a negative run for 10 weeks or something.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
went on a
crazy.
pretty good string of them. But look, I think the team understands that. I think Josh and Coach Vrabel, they want that to be a point of emphasis. Just from seeing how, I never played for Mike, obviously, but where he comes from, what he believes, like, he's got to believe in the running game. And I think, some of this is all tied in together. Everyone shares in the blame. I think as an O-lineman, you have to take ownership of that, though. But I'm interested to see it. I do think some of the outside zone runs are interesting.
Well, now that if you're going to be able to incorporate boots and keepers and half rolls and stuff, like you got to at least have the run game to marry, or else people are going to say it's wide zone. It's probably a boot.
Yeah,
so you got to pair those things together.
And I do think on the wide zone, everyone kind of gets on tracks. Yeah. And so it cleans it up a little bit. Yeah. Versus the picture, like there was one time that the linebacker shifted and the safety came down and he was free. And that's where it gets hard, especially with younger players, because the picture's changing so fast. Whereas when you're running outside zones, some of that stuff gets lost in the wash. Mm-hmm. So, and I think they've done a pretty good job on outside zone. So, I'd like to see some of that, how that looks. And but I think though the penalties and run game, if the team can clean those up, I really do think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean on the finish notion. You talked about Bradbury says they need to finish. You talked about it. I think, and Damian Harris pointed this out. I saw it on X, and I saw it during the game, but he really was like, people question, like, why are they sticking around with Mondre? Did you see Mondre? I know it got called back.
Mondre and pass pro was unreal.
But like when the touchdown that got called back to Pop, he ran all the way down and made the block to get Pop in the end zone and buried the guy. Yeah. Like, you talk about.
I mean, that was cool, and I appreciate that. Yeah. But the pass blocking, that's why, in this situation, I mean, cut DeMario Davis, who's a great linebacker in this league. That's the play. Drake scrambled down to the 2-yard line, which was probably the most disappointing area of the game for me. You're on the 2-yard line, you go 1 yard run, and then negative like 3 or 4 yard run, and then a penalty.
Don't pull on the goal line, right? That's what we always said. That's what Dante always said. We don't want to pull on the goal line. What
was a big philosophy, but I've seen a lot of teams have success with it. You just have to execute.
But you got to tell the people what Dante would say.
So Dante one time.
And we say pull on the goal line. That means a guard pulling for a power play on the goal line.
Now, it does create an advantage because you add extra blocker into the front.
But everything's so tight.
And it was pointed out. I'd noticed it watching it, and then some reporter, maybe Andrew Callan, reported, and you can see it, that Jared Wilson, playing left guard, never played guard before, rookie, his stance and his alignment was deeper.
Gave it away
A little bit. They teed off. So Dante was a big no-puller on the goal line, and I don't know. That might have came from Bill. It might have came from Dante. But never forget one time Dante says, if we ever pull on the goal line, my ass is getting fired or I'm quitting.
And that's why he's the best.
Did you guys see the clip, though, of Travion Henderson in the pass pro when he was coming up on that right side? And granted, the DN slipped on the tackle late.
Yeah.
He's just kind of glitching there in no man's land.
I think he was supposed to block Chase Young.
Yeah.
Chase Young dropped.
Yeah, and then
he's a rookie, and yeah, he kind of went Madden mode.
There's things like that where you have your rule as a player. I've seen people do it before, and especially in pass protection for a young player like David's saying, all right, on this it was a slide, quick game protection. You have the defensive end. Like that's a tall task for a running back. So he gets up there, all of a sudden the defensive end drops. He's like, what am I supposed to do now?
There was someone, either Hooper or Hunter in the flat, and the D.
Yeah, you couldn't go to the flat because they were running hook. They were running out and a hook. So technically, he's going to cut the defensive end in short pass protection. And then if some reason, the very short, small instance where the defensive end dropped, he'd actually have to go back over the ball to not get underneath those receivers. And I think at that point, he got there and was like, what do I do now? Maybe wait for someone. Is someone going to replace him? Yeah. So I get it. Like people want to, it did look like a Madden glitch. It was kind of wild.
That's probably why the guy who was drafted 38th overall in this year's draft is not on the field and getting less carries than Mondre right now.
Yeah.
I think, does Trayvon Henderson have the skill set? Yes. I think we've seen all the, why are you laughing?
Can we just correct him once and for all?
It's Travion.
Travion.
It's not Trayvon. It's Travion.
Travion?
Travion.
We'll spell it out later, but it's
What
Travion.
is this, a shit on David show?
This is part of
assholes
being in the media. You get the sheet. It gives you the pronunciation.
Yeah, well, we just talked about Danny doesn't prepare us. There ain't no pronunciations here.
We'll go through people's names before each show next
Where were
week.
you at in Nantucket? Crew? Where else? Cisco Brewery?
We're going back to that now? Okay. Oh, can we talk about my hot take, though, on Twitter that somehow went viral?
Yeah, so screw my point. All right, go ahead.
I know you guys.
He's been waiting to interject.
I tweeted out on Thursday Night Football after Cam Scatterboo had his first touchdown of the game. I said I would trade Cam Scatterboo.
Oh, my God. We're putting screenshots of Danny up now?
There we go. I would trade Travion Henderson for Cam Scatterboo straight up. And, there was two sides of it. I'd say it was more like, no, we're keeping Scatterboo. It got to Giants Twitter more than Pats Twitter.
Okay.
Pats Twitter called me idiotic, and so did you guys.
Yeah.
But, after this weekend's game, it looks kind of right. I know in the long term, Scatterboo's got a three-year lifespan in the NFL.
I love, first and foremost, I love Cam Scatterboo and what he would be, people loved Danny Woodhead when he was here. People loved Rex Burkhead when he was here. This dude would be beloved. But the reality is, I'm going to take the guy with the upside who he showed in training camp. Not only is he going to be a part of the running game, but the passing game. And I think eventually, and this is my hot take, my bold claim, I think eventually Travion Henderson turns into an Alvin Kamara, a Jahmyr Gibbs type player for this offense. And I think the Scatterboo, and Garrett, my son, loves Jackson Dart and Scatterboo because he has what they call aura.
Very much.
And my son's walking around doing these things, and I'm like, it's fun and it's exciting, but that only takes you so far. And I think Scatterboo's a great player, but I think having watched Travion Henderson college film, having watched what he did in training camp, I think he's a little overwhelmed right now, and they don't want to throw too much at him. But I think the moment it clicks, he's going to be an explosive player.
Well, that was my point offense. Before it got interrupted. But
go ahead, David.
Travion. Travion.
There we go.
That's right?
Yeah, that's right.
I was just going to say, I think we've seen the upside of him.
Yeah. Not as bad as Gronk doing Emeka Egbuka's name. You're not that far off. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, but I couldn't have done that either. So, I don't think, like you said, we've seen it. And it's just going to have to be slowing the game down for him a little bit. Yep. Which I think is a good leeway into our FW Webb dependable player of the game.
Yeah. Definitely. This guy deserves it. He's, while they pull up the stats on Kayshon Boutte, who's the FW Webb dependable player of the game, this is a guy, we've talked about the growth of Drake Maye. I look at Kayshon Boutte, a guy who's probably grown just as much as Drake Maye in the year that we've seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some big plays last year, but the maturity level that he's shown, I mean, in training camp, they were talking about this guy being a fringe guy to make the team. The maturity level, I didn't think he handled the bad season last year the right way. I mean, he would get up there and question play calling, and I have to give him props. I mean, the attitude, the maturity, and then I think you pair him with Josh McDaniels and Todd Downing and the way that they're teaching these receivers to play. He has become such a guy that Drake trusts, and coming up with those 50-50 balls and the 2 touchdowns to do that in your hometown had to be so cool for him. And he's becoming one of the better receivers on this team. I'm sure he's learning from Diggs. I'm sure that the scheme and where they're able to move him around has really improved basically where he's at as a player. But a lot of credit to him for putting in the work and being able to grow and mature. And I think you're seeing that each and every week. I mean, this guy is like a living touchdown and third down machine.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I was there with Kayshon for a while, and it's always cool to see young guys excel. And especially when they come in and not living up to what their potential is, and then something kind of clicks. And I think it has clicked for Kayshon. And, you said it, like, that's got to be so cool to go to your home area. Yeah, I think he said he had 40 tickets, so he played the game
for free, basically.
Right, 40.
Played the game for free. Do that in front of all your friends and family, in your home state. And you just think about, the improvement he's made. And you did say that's like the touchdown and like first down rate for him is like basically almost every catch. And what that tells me is that Drake trusts him too.
Yeah, and he's being built in when Josh is designing these plays, right? Every play has a purpose. And so when you design a play, whether it's third down, whether it's a shot play, like you're building it, and then okay, who do we want to put in what places?
Yeah.
Well, Kayshon's a big physical receiver. Let's put him backside. And Drake, if you have him one-on-one, you trust him. I think that was it right there, the back shoulder catch to kind of seal the game. But also the 2 touchdowns, Drake steps up, finds him down the field, and he's going to get in the end zone. He rips the ball away right there, we see for the touchdown. I really love this receiver room. And I know people, even myself, have said, hey, what about A.J. Brown? But adding a guy like A.J. Brown to a room like this where they're kind of doing it by committee and each guy gets to eat a little bit each week. And like we saw Pop Douglas have a big game, big week this week. He had basically
should have had a bigger week than
should have had a bigger week. Refs took that away from him. But I love Drake. I think what happens is when you get zone defense, you go through the progression, right? It's a progression-based pass game. Is it 1 high? Is it 2 high? Go through your reads. When it shifts over to man, you got some man beaters now. You got Boutte, who's a big 50-50 ball guy. You got Diggs who can run. We saw on the 4th down, he ran a little ram route, which he's so good at doing.
Looks so easy.
You got Hunter who matches up well against linebackers or safeties. Like they have a really good combination. I mean, Mac Hollins comes up with a few big catches. We even saw some attempts to Kyle Williams. So it's growing. And I think the one thing you see with Drake, with Boutte, a lot of trust there to throw those 50-50 balls up.
And one thing I really thought about when we decided to make Kayshon the FW Web Dependable Player of the Game was I think this is a reminder. It's a reminder to fans, to us, to everyone, especially because you hear the frustration with Kyle Williams and Travion.
Travion, good job.
Great work, David.
Coachable.
Great work.
Coachable. You hear, well, they're not doing anything. We wasted these draft picks. Look, and granted, Kayshon was a 6th-round draft pick, but sometimes it's a good reminder not to give up on guys.
Yep.
Like, it would have been easy to give up on Kayshon Boutte, and maybe he's a guy that goes somewhere else now, and you're seeing him have success. You're like, whoa. And so, look, granted, these guys were higher draft picks, and you don't want it to see, I think this is Kayshon's 4th year?
Third. Drafted in 2023.
23. So you don't want, 3 years, that's a little while, but he's done it. He's doing it now.
And he showed glimpses of it.
He did show glimpses of it,
but I think
it's the consistency.
The attitude the attitude change, the work that he put in, the trust that Drake has in him. I mean, he's going to start getting more and more targets. And so, look, Kayshon Boutte back home in Louisiana, He has 5 reception, 93 yards, and most importantly, 2 touchdowns. That's why he's the FW Webb Dependable Player of the Game.
On jobs large and small across 16 disciplines, FW Webb has the selection, in-stock inventory, expertise, solutions, and people to get the job done right. For more than 150 years, FW Webb has been the trusted partner for professionals across the Northeast, delivering what you need, when, and where you need it. Because at FW Webb, they believe relationships, trust, and dependable service matter. FW Webb, where every customer counts.
We're back. Like, we are on top of the division right now. But what I'm excited about from Sunday's win, people want to talk about it wasn't a style win, all that. We didn't win by 3 touchdowns against the worst team in the NFL. But I think we didn't let expectations get to our head. We handled it. We went on the road and got a W.
To hell with that. We're going to the Super Bowl.
I agree
I
with
was
you.
1 week early. Now we're back. We're in. I don't know. No, but I do think
The team handled it well.
they did handle it
That's
well.
my point. They
And
handled the expectations well.
I do think getting into what happened last night will be interesting to talk
I
about,
know.
but they did handle it well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Like, let's see next week. So here we are. They went down. It wasn't a Carolina Panthers win. Like, they didn't go and just blow them out. But the Panthers have beat the Dallas.
They've beat Dallas, Miami. Like, they've
Right. So, like, this is, I think David's point is the NFL is a week-to-week basis, okay? That's the reality. And like I said, when I watched the game, I was actually pleasantly surprised by the Saints offense. I thought Spencer Rattler played really well.
I thought the Saints played well.
So that's why it was a trap game. Like, you come off a big win. It's a night game. You don't get back till early Monday morning. Now you got to travel down to New Orleans. They're not great. The atmosphere isn't what it was when we would go down there and play against, like, Drew Brees. And it was they did what they had to do. They won the game. Now here you are, as Danny's pointed out, look, 4-2. So it's basically a third of the season's over. You're in first place. But as you and I both know, one of the greatest lessons I think I ever learned from Bill is where you're at after Thanksgiving really tells where you're at as a football team, because it gives you enough time. 6 games is a good sample size, and I'm all in on, like, the Drake Maye for MVP train at this point, because 6 games is enough to know, like, what you should be.
Yes.
But as you and I both know, injuries, playing at different teams, like, give it another 7 weeks, 6 weeks, and we'll really, if the Patriots are in first place, which I think they should be when it comes to Thanksgiving, like, you talking about Super Bowl, like, you'll get me buying tickets by then too.
And you refund all the people I've told to buy tickets for you?
Never said that.
Based off that, I do have a question from the fans here.
Well,
Go ahead,
I think you just look at it, right? And we learned this lesson. We didn't learn it the hard way. We knew, but this thing kind of happened in 21 a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were not even top of the division. You number 1 in the AFC.
Yeah.
And the NFL, there's a lot of jockeying at the start of the season, right? And then it's kind of like a horse race. Like, everyone's just kind of in the pack, figuring things out, and then you see the good teams start to separate. I mean, at one point,
look at this. This is wild right here. If you would have told someone, end of training camp, that's 6 weeks in the season, these would be the division leaders in records, people would say you're insane.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Danny, you're the fan. Anybody would have projected the Colts, the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Patriots winning the divisions at this point?
No, I like to go on the preseason odds on sportsbooks. I think the Colts are at the bottom of their division. I swear the Steelers were at the bottom.
Yep.
And I think the Chargers were second behind the Chiefs. Once you see the Chiefs coming up, they're in the hunt right now, not even in the picture, but they're going to get back to where they're supposed to.
Well, and I mean, look, I think it's a great reminder too. Last year, the Eagles were calling for Sirianni's job, and then they went and blew the Chiefs out in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. There's just a lot of jockeying.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Not that, like, you don't care each week because you only have such a limited opportunity compared to, like, NBA, hockey, or baseball. Like, every win is important. Every game super important. But there's a lot of middling going on right now. And then eventually the cream's going to rise to the top, like you said, like after Thanksgiving, and you're going to have a clearer picture of who these, top dogs are right now. And I think
Which I would say the Patriots are putting themselves in position to make that run. And I think the one thing that you see from them is they don't seem satisfied, which is great. Like Vrabel even said, like, we're going to celebrate this win. We know there's a lot to clean up. And I know you guys are disappointed in some of the things, but we won the game. We want to celebrate this, and then we're going to move on. And
which is true.
You talk about a trap game. Like, I've been on, you really haven't had to deal with this. I've been on teams where they fired a coach mid-year.
Get that next week, midweek bump.
It gives you a little bump, and here it is. It's technically a revenge game for Vrabel, right? Go back down to Tennessee. You and I have played at Tennessee at noon on Sundays when maybe they were decent. Like, this place will lull you to sleep. They're playing country music. It kind of
Whoa.
But for a pregame, it's not like
that's debatable.
All I'm saying is they may come out this week with their hair on fire. They're playing their old coach. There's some guys that played for Vrabel there, I'm sure. Simmons, like, they don't want to lose. No. Like, this is another quote-unquote trap game because a team, the week after they fired a coach, it breathes life into that team sometimes. They have Cam Ward, who they took number 1 overall. He's elusive. Like, that was the one thing I was going to say about the defense. And I know Cam Ward's probably not as elusive as Spencer Rattler. They got to do a better job with athletic quarterbacks. There was times where he extended the play with his legs. You got to really collapse the pocket. But another game, they should go down and win. They handle business, and I think they have the maturity to do so.
Well, I think from sitting here now, if the Patriots were 3-3, you'd still feel pretty good, right? And 2-4, not as much, but like it's better than it was.
You're not 1-5 like the Ravens.
But to be 4-2 right now, as a fan base, we have to be excited about that.
And I think the quarterback is the biggest reason why.
Yes,
I mean, that's let's just call it what it is.
Drake you can't win without good quarterback.
I said he made a 3-year leap in a year. I'm going to go ahead and say he's made a 5-year leap after what I saw with his pocket presence. The thing that I noticed,
he's getting better each week,
and he's realizing when to hang and throw it. And he's realizing, okay, now it's time to take off and run it. And I think that's something, a lot of comparisons to Josh Allen. It took Josh a few years to figure out the balance in that. And I think Drake is doing it at a very, really fast pace at this point, and I love where he's at. So that's why, along with the 4-2 record, you have your quarterback.
Yeah, and I think, look, wherever the season ends up, which is probably going to end in San Francisco right now, but
let's go.
Yep. But wherever it ends up, no, in all seriousness, wherever it ends up, whether it's 9-8 and they fall apart at the like, it's still a good year, and we've seen a lot of improvement. And you would have to be excited as a fan. I would. Now, granted, you're sitting here now and they finish 9-8, you're going to be disappointed because of you saw a lot of potential. Yeah. But in saying that, it just, I don't know, like, how could you not be happy right now as a fan? It looks like you have the franchise quarterback. They're making improvement. In 1 year's time, you went from the bottom of the AFC to, the top.
As of right
now in the division. Like, it shows progress. It shows the franchise is moving in the right direction. But
I do think, like, one thing that, and I retweeted someone who pointed this out, you look at the last 3 first-round picks, you've nailed on the quarterback, the guy who protects the quarterback, and a guy on the defense who takes the ball and covers.
Yeah. You have to give him credit for
that. Those 3 guys are pillars. Now, can you get one more next year? And we don't know where they're going to be drafting, but can you get an edge rusher that is like, or do you out and trade one at the deadline? Like, this
on
is
that point, Hoy,
I think this is
a question from the fan though.
About the trade deadline, because I think this is interesting, and I'm starting to think more about it. But go ahead.
What would you target? This comes from Ben McDonald. Keep sending your fan questions on Twitter. We love them. What areas would you target, if any, before the trade deadline? Edge rusher, safety help, running back depth. With the state of the AFC, we have a real shot to make a run. It feels like we should be buyers before the deadline.
I mean, look, if you want to go all in, call and inquire about Derrick Henry, Trey Hendrickson, and A.J. Brown. I mean, the reality is you have Drake Maye on a rookie salary, and I don't know, I just threw that out there because of the type of positions that this guy is mentioning. But I honestly, and we're sitting here, we're not blowing smoke. Like, they look really good. If you could add, even just if you add one of those guys that I just mentioned, your team instantaneously becomes better. You have cap space. This is where teams, when you have the young quarterback, they say, screw it, let's go all in. Before we have to pay him the big bucks, let's go out and get some of these. And I know I get, like, those guys are a little bit older. Hendrickson's older. Henry's older. A.J. Brown's still kind of young, and obviously there's a connection between A.J. Brown and Vrabel and Derrick Henry and Vrabel, right? So, like, to me, it's not out of this realm. Like if you and I woke up one day over the next, when is the trade deadline? A few weeks away, and like Adam Schefter comes on with breaking news, like the Patriots have made a big trade, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth on this because right now it looks good.
Yeah.
And the A.J. Brown stuff's interesting to me. How many more years does he have on his contract, Danny? A couple?
I'll give it a look. But the trade deadline is November 4th, so coming up quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I guess it concerns me about like getting an A.J. Brown, yes, he's really good. We haven't had a receiver like that in a long time. But now you've got Diggs, who's, I would say obviously our number one. Then you got Boutte that's coming along. You see Pop get more involved this week.
This is where I don't disagree with you. I
just hate throwing a wrench in that plan.
You don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, you don't know what it's going to do. I think it would be different, which A.J. Brown's a little older. He's not super old yet. I still think he's
What is he, Danny, like 28, 29?
We were looking up A.J. Brown's contract record, but A.J. Brown's 28.
He's not old.
He's not that old. Okay.
But like, I guess I'm
just scared.
Yeah.
Like what I would just be scared of is, all right, you trade him, you take on the contract because you have the money, but you also got Diggs for another 3 years. Like, then maybe now do you increase drama?
Exactly.
Do you increase headaches sometimes?
It's going so well with Diggs right now that I don't think you. And I like.
But like also like. If you can get that talent, you can get that. I don't know.
From my perspective, having been a quarterback, and this is a little bit of a different scenario, but my year that I started in Cleveland, Josh Gordon was suspended for the first 10 weeks. Oh. And we were doing pretty well without him. And all of a sudden he came back, and it just changed the entire dynamic because we were like, God, this guy's a freak. Like, we got to try to get the ball to him as much as we can. And the guys who were having success before Josh was there, they started to drop a little bit. And Josh hadn't been a part of the offense. Yeah. He wasn't there at practice, and we were forcing things. And so, like, do you trade A.J. Brown and all of a sudden, like, the production of a Mac Collins or a Stephon Diggs
I would say Boutte and Diggs.
Or Boutte, like, does that take a hit? And to your point, you can never really forecast is there drama that's brought in. That's why, to me, like, getting a Trey Hendrickson, that improves your team, and you're not going to have any drama there. Or even, as wild as it could sound, because of where the Ravens are at, like a Derrick Henry. Like,
I mean, I would rather, I guess, right now, I don't know. It's so hard because, like, what if A.J. Brown does go to another team and starts balling out? And then
A.J. Brown is on the last year of his contract in Philly.
So I guess that's is he looking for a new contract? That could be interesting because you could trade him and then trade him again, sign him and trade him. I don't know, but running back's interesting to me because, like, I listen to Felger and Mass sometimes, and Felger's pretty big on, like, oh, we can just find a running back. And I just don't think you can. It's not just as easy as it sounds. And a good running back can change a team, but, like, I don't – is that Derrick Henry, and, like, not having Derrick Henry carry the ball 30 times a game because you don't need him to because you have these other guys? I don't know. The trade deadline's so interesting. You asked me at the beginning of the year that, hey, you had a chance at A.J. Brown. I'd have been like, yeah, let's do it. But, like, now I'm almost, like, more hesitant for some reason.
What about linemen, offensive linemen?
It's just, I think
they're not going to – you're not going to – like, no, I highly doubt – a team is going to trade, like, unless you can get to, I guess, in my opinion, unless you can trade away, like, I don't know who. But, like,
who are you taking
a top
out?
Right tackle that's, like, in his 5th year. I don't know who that is, but, like,
I think the one thing that,
all right, we're going to trade for him and get him in, but then, it's like, I don't know. I think it's harder just to put a Band-Aid and, like, fix a problem. Like, if you can get a generational talent, I don't see why.
Who of those people?
No generational
right. And we
tackles
just talked
getting
about
traded.
With David earlier in the show, like, how hard it is for, like, these guys haven't even come together yet. Like, now you're going to add a new lineman in, try to get the calls. Like, to me, and if I was ever running a team, there's certain positions that make it easy to trade. A running back, all he's got to do is get the ball and run.
Edge rusher.
A receiver, an edge rusher, a corner. Like, guys that aren't going to have to really, like, get in the playbook, so to speak, and have to work with other people. Like, if you get Trey Hendrickson, you're like, all right, get the quarterback. Yeah. It's very simple. If you get Derrick Henry, all right, here's the run, take the ball and run.
And I would say in some of those positions, it's easier to see a quicker impact, kind of like you were saying, because it's like, all right, A.J. Brown, we know you don't know the offense 100%.
Yeah.
We're going to give you these 20 plays. Or Trey Henderson, we know you might not know what to do on this exotic blitz we have, but we're going to put you in on the straight rushes or games that you've ran your whole career and let you go. So O-line's a little different. If there is a generational talent, I guess that's a strong word. If there's a really strong player, sure, maybe get him, but like also I like having draft capital, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams willing to trade that superstar away right now. But I could be wrong. You know, I'm wrong a lot, like I was about Danny.
I'm here, baby. I'm here.
All right, before we go on to next week, can I just I'm a little bit of a fashion guy. I know you probably don't care as much, and an all-white jersey for an offensive lineman isn't always
I love all white.
The most becoming, but I loved the all-white uniform. And my only, and I wish we could get a poll on this, like, do we think maybe that we go to the white helmet with the red face mask and the flying Elvis to go, like, clear, like, go all out, all white? And like a look they've never done before, the white helmet.
You're such a quarterback.
I am a quarterback. I thought it looked phenomenal, but if you get the white helmet in there with the red face mask or the white face mask with the flying Elvis, that'd be something that's never really been done.
When are they wearing these new jerseys, the Nor'easters?
I think that's the October 26th game, I believe.
I kind of like it a little bit. It's grown on me. I didn't love it at first.
I think people were a little concerned that it looked like the Colts. But to me, it's really
grayish,
like a grayish blue.
Which fits. I mean, it's just gray.
Yeah, it's like the weather out today. Everybody's dealing with this nor'easter. But I don't know. I think we should ask a poll. Do the fans like the all-white? Do they like to add a white helmet to that look with the flying Elvis?
I wasn't a big fan of the white on blue pants, personally.
Me either.
I like the silver on blue. Obviously, the old throwbacks are some of the cleanest.
I think they need to bring back like the Bledsoe era.
I love
like
the Bledsoes.
Kind of like the subtle like lines down the jersey. I see a lot of fans calling for that. I would love to see a red jersey and like the modern style.
I like the royal blue too.
The royal blue. That's at this point, you could be any, like the Bucks are wearing the throwbacks. Everybody's doing throwbacks. They're doing new jerseys. I just had to throw that out there because I thought the all white looked so clean.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean,
Danny, did you like it?
Doesn't matter. It matters what you play like. But
that's right.
I like the uniform. I want to see you, Hoy, with that helmet behind you. Just wear that the entire show.
But that's what I'm saying.
And then
like,
you feel like more of a quarterback, more of like you're in the game, and you might give us better insights.
If we do the white helmet, now you just take the stripe.
That's why he's used to you guys talking in his ear, and I'm not, because he grew up with it.
I'm used to like the plays coming in.
Now
while
Sarah
I'm
comes in my ear and says something, and I just get derailed the whole day.
It's Travion. It's Travion.
All right, that brings us to our Miller Lite legendary moment. Legendary stories start with a light. Here's the 50 years of Miller time. And that legendary moment is the 2018 divisional round versus the Tennessee Titans. I always hate saying the 2018.
I know, because it's the 2017 season.
Yeah, I say it's the 2017.
This game was in 2018.
I know. Look, it was a big game. It was a fun game. Yeah, Deion Lewis had a big game. Defense had 8 sacks. Rob had a big game. There's a sexy picture of me right there.
You look good.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, you look really. I told you today. You look great right now.
I'm trying.
Losing the weight.
And this was the year that Edelman was out, and kind of a little bit of foreshadowing. Danny Amendola had a big game that week, and then obviously the big game in the AFC Championship game. It was a great game. It was a fun game to play in.
I think this was a Saturday night. It was one of those Saturday night playoff games.
And
it was cold.
Yeah, it was, because I remember that Sunday we had off, and me and a bunch of guys went into Lincoln and Southie. Yeah, and we had a pretty fun time. And but we were watching the AFC the AFC other divisional round was the Steelers Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Jaguars obviously won, and but it was a cool game. There's a lot of memories from this game. We did a lot of hurry up this game. So we had a hurry up system. NASCAR. We ran a lot of outside zone. We had a lot of success with that against the team. And it's kind of interesting. This is the precursor to Vrabel coming to Tennessee, which I thought was interesting when I heard the news. Tennessee was, I think it was Malarkey?
He was Malarkey, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his, they fired him after this game, right?
Yeah, they fired him, and I was like, wow, They fired this guy. They just went to the – I mean, we were the best team in football. Like,
Yep.
you know, they fired this guy after losing to us in the divisional round. Like, that's a pretty good year. You know, I wouldn't think you would fire a coach. But great game you actually just brought up. It just shows the preparation of this team and what we did every week and how we approach things. So we ran, you said, slant 34 on the goal line. You want to get into that?
Yeah, I mean, like, there was a lot of great plays. Obviously, Tom threw for a bunch of yards. Dion Lewis ran for a bunch of yards. Defense played great. Gronk had a touchdown. Dola. But the one play, like when we talked about let's do this game, that came to my mind was Brandon Bolden untouched. We talked about goal line defense earlier in the show. It didn't go so well for the Patriots down in New Orleans, but you talk about preparation and knowing a team, and we had a very good tell with the Titans defense if their linebackers were kind of stacked at different levels.
They're usually stacked and closer. And we did a little each other.
Shift in emotion, and we saw it, and Tom alerted it, and we went to a slant goal line lead, and Brandon Bolden goes in untouched, like parting of the Red Sea.
It was between me and James Devlin.
You and James Devlin, like you take the first one, he takes the second.
So what happens is a lot of times we would go to the goal line and we'd have an outside zone. It's not really outside zone because it's on the 1 yard line, but like an outside play. And then you always alerted it when it was cross dog to lead because
you knew the D linemen were going to go out wide and the linebackers were going to cross each other and come down the A gap.
So we always alerted it. And you talk about a team playing their best football when it mattered the most. And this was something we got so good. And one thing was cool when we were out there, everybody saw it.
Everybody knew, yeah.
Everybody started calling out cross dog. Yeah, like alert. And everyone knew how to respond. And so, yeah, the rule always was I was working to the backside guy on lead, and James Devlin would take the front side guy. And I would have rather ran lead than the outside play 10 times out of 10 because I just loved it. It's the play we scored on with Rex Burkhead in Kansas City a year later to win the game. And it's just a great play. I love it. It's physical. But they did the cross dog. We alerted it. Me and James picked it up perfect, and it looked like the Red Sea. Moses just walking through the Red Sea. And it was a great game, a great atmosphere. And in saying that, I'm hoping the way things are going, this team will bring a home playoff game back to Gillette this year because
incredible.
The fans deserve that. There's nothing like that atmosphere in Gillette. It's cold, it's nasty, and the fans are psychos, and they're there because I wouldn't be there because it's too cold. But God love y'all. Yeah, I mean, just a great game, which led into a pretty good season that ended not so good, but there's nothing like home playoff games in Gillette, and I think that's something this fan base deserves and desperately wants.
They're on track. And as I'm sitting here talking about this legendary moments, and this was not a game you were here for because it was my rookie year, so you were probably still in high school. But it was the throwback game in 2009
when it snowed.
And it was this week. It was the week after my birthday, and.
Yeah, by the way, happy 40th birthday to Hoyer.
Happy 40th birthday, Brian Hoyer.
I'm still young at heart.
I meant to say that at the start of the show. I was just so flustered.
You guys keep me young. But my rookie year, it was literally the game the week after my birthday, and all of a sudden a nor'easter came, just like we just had, but it got cold, and I'll never forget in warm-ups it was kind of spitting rain, and Tom was all pissed off because he hates playing in the rain. And as we were going in, it started to snow, and he lost his mind because he loves playing in the snow. And that was the game where we just absolutely destroyed Tennessee in the snow. I think he threw 5 touchdowns in the first half, and I actually got to play pretty much the whole fourth quarter. I got my first NFL touchdown on a QB sneak. That was a legendary game.
Randy Moss went off.
Moss, he was splitting them. 59-0. That was like incredible. So we didn't pick that one because you and I weren't there together for it, but it was one of those in the snow memory games that was definitely legendary in its own right.
This has nothing to do with games in general, but speaking of Tom and the snow, I'll never forget one year we were practicing on a Friday, and of course we couldn't go in the bubble because
no lightning.
It didn't exist. And it's just dumping snow at practice. And look, Fridays are a little bit more relaxed. they are and they aren't. Like, you don't want to mess up on a Friday, but when you're playing good, and we had been together for a little while, this group, so, like, it was like a well-oiled machine. We went out there. We had great Fridays. Everyone walked off the field feeling good. But, you know, you talk about, like, oh, the Patriots don't have any fun and all this bullshit. And one day I'll never forget, I'm, like, standing. The scout team offense is going, so the defense is practicing. And I'm, like, standing behind watching. And sometimes we'd work on snaps or different things, timing up so when Tom could throw to the receivers. And all of a sudden, in the side of my face, a snowball hit me. And, like, Tom's, like, giggling. And we erupted into, like, this big snowball fight. And it was just – it's one of those moments where you're sitting there and you're like, we're grown men playing a children's game. Now we're out here having a snowball fight. Like, I don't know. It just makes football so fun. And those are the things, you know, I guess, talking about being retired, that you miss sometimes, you know. And I'll never forget that moment. And I was like, God, I hope Bill doesn't turn around and see us acting like, you know, a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Did you throw him back at him?
Yeah, like everybody. I think he started to run, and I don't like
well,
to
he
run.
ain't very fast, so I hope you got
Hey,
him.
Brian, in this game against the Titans in 2018, your stat line, 3 rushes, -1 yard.
He was taking knees.
They were knees. They were kneels at the end. But I had a touchdown. So, long story short, we drive down. I had a few passes. I remember I hit, like, Ben Watson on a few. I might have even.
He wasn't on the team in 17.
No, this is the 2009. Are you talking about?
I'm talking about the playoff game.
Did I go in that game?
Yeah.
You took 3 knees.
There you go. You know, so talking about Dante Scarnecchia, he would go in there and he'd be like, listen, we've got this many rushing yards. So when you go take those knees, don't be going backwards. Go down right away, because he wanted to limit the negative yards rushing.
Oh, also, speaking on that in the run game, I guess this kind of ties in. Someone asked me about Drake Maye in the run game.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Drake in the run game a lot, personally. I don't want him taking unnecessary shots.
No, he's being smart about it,
Yeah,
though.
I agree. But, like, I don't want to see a bunch of designed runs for Drake Maye. But one thing Dante used to always do, which I love, we would talk about, like, you know, leading where we ranked rushing-wise versus other people. And we were really good, obviously, and took a lot of pride in running the football. And so he would get up there, and, like, we'd probably be, like, I don't know, top 5 or, like, 7 or 8.
Yep.
You know, we were good. But then he'd be like, Carolina, they got Cam Newton. And he would show, like, 2 graphics. He's like, take Cam's rushing yards out. Take Josh Allen's rushing yards. And then he would, like, re-rank it by all the quarterbacks running. That made you feel a little bit. Because you would look, you'd be like, man, we were pretty – I mean, top 10's really good. But, like, you felt like you were better than that. And then you would take out all the QB rushing yards, which Drake was our leading rusher on Sunday.
But I would say this about, like, designed runs for Drake. Like, when it gets to November, December, and you're in it, I think it's okay to have a few meaningful scripted runs where
I don't want to see it on 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line.
It's like you save it for situational
red zone, 4th down.
Parts of the game.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, if it's let's say it's not even a design run. If it's 3rd and 5 and he runs for 4 yards, yeah, you got to put your shoulder down and go get the first down.
Yep.
If it's 2nd and 7 and you run for 5, maybe get down.
Miller Lite isn't just any light beer. It's the original light beer. And when Miller Lite arrived 50 years ago, time became Miller time. And fun nights became stories worth telling. Miller Lite, celebrating 5 decades of legendary moments, because legendary stories start with a light.
So we talked about earlier, you know, if we were 9 and 8 now it is with the 17th game.
I hate you can't go 500 anymore.
Yeah. How that would be a disappointment. I think it would be a massive disappointment because of our schedule. And I've talked about this before. I know you guys are big, like, one game at a time guys as players. Us fans, we see the schedule and we get excited.
I think I'm more of a fan. I'm all
out,
in.
Oh, our schedule's a joke. And then Atlanta goes out and lays it on Buffalo. Here. So then I'm like, man, is that Buffalo win as big as we thought it was? Like,
but then you can do the whole thing. The Panthers shut out the Falcons, I think. And then you're like, but then we killed the Panthers, so you know
that's why, like, you can't just sit there and be like, oh man, this is a walk to San Francisco. To our point, you have to bring it each and every week.
No, and I think you do look at our schedule, and I do agree with you. It's not a great schedule. You can't argue that we have one of the harder schedules.
No, not at all.
In those next 7 games, though, I think the Bucs, if you want to give a loss here, let's throw it to the Bucks on the road, and then Falcons at home might be the other one. If we're
Yeah, I mean, if you're
what about
if
your
you're,
boy Scadaboo and
not
Jackson
scared.
Dart?
I am not scared of the New
Yeah,
York
so
Giants.
what is this? The next 7 games.
It's why that's crazy.
You should at least be by just looking at it from 1,000 view. You should really walk out of there with 6 wins, right?
This is what
Easily.
That's not. I'm just telling you, if that is what happens, then I'm refunding the Super Bowl tickets. But if not, like, you want to come out of that 4-2, and you're gonna be okay. Like,
if you come out at 4-2, worst case scenario, you're sitting at 8-4.
that to me is like worst case scenario. 8-4 with 5 games to go. And you get
that was the floor for me for wins was 8 wins, and so right now that's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I think if the team keeps developing and improving each week, and they take away some of the penalties, maybe they add a
it should
key
be
player,
10 wins easy.
It could really. I mean, we could be sitting there at that Tampa Bay game and saying this is the battle for the MVP race between Baker Mayfield and Drake Maye. And look, you guys got me hyped up last week. I'm all in.
Thank you.
When you look at the stats, and I think this is where people like, I did a quarterback ranking on Kay Adams' show, and people gave me shit because I didn't have Mahomes on it. But the reality was this year, now he's getting back. He's getting some of his players back, and he's probably worked his way back in. But at that point, like, you got to go on what you've done lately.
Yeah.
And when you look at the statistics and you look at what Drake Maye has done, and also I think MVP carries a little bit of like, how valuable are you to your team? I don't know if
let's do some.
I don't know if the Patriots are 4-2 without Drake Maye, but I think he's right up there with Baker Mayfield. This is what's wild.
Let's do something real quick. Let's give 4 quarterback MVPs right now.
Okay, Baker Mayfield, Drake Maye,
Yep.
Daniel Jones,
No.
Patrick Mahomes.
and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know.
I'm going, and this is just totally, I'm going Baker Mayfield, Drake Maye, Stafford.
He was leading the league, but this past week it was not very good.
It wasn't good, but that's okay.
That's a Georgia dog thing, and I love
that's
Stafford.
bias right there.
That's fine. It's my list, Danny.
All right, go ahead.
It says David's
All right,
list on the graphic.
Baker,
I think.
Drake, Stafford, and
No, it doesn't.
It's got to be Mahomes.
I'm going golf.
It's got to be Mahomes. Can I clarify something earlier? We said EPA, right? It's expected points added. So that means before every play, based on factors like downs, distance, field position, there's an estimated number an average team would score from that expected position. So say 1st and 10.
this is I don't even want to hear about this.
Can I say something?
I want to clarify.
This is such a nerd stat that like.
Can I say something?
Dak Prescott's number 1 by a mile is my point in EPA.
Right, so it means it basically doesn't mean shit.
Well, no, but they've had an incredible offense, and their defense
Yeah,
is
their defense,
crap.
they can't
so
stop
like it's like
anybody.
Joe Burrow last year, where his defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, and they score 40 points a game, and like he almost won MVP. So I'm saying Dak Prescott's up there, Mahomes is 2nd, and then Drake Maye is 3rd.
You guys should have seen my dumb ass this morning. I took my computer and I went and had breakfast, and I was trying to look up. I was on Next Gen Stats, PFF, all these different sites that I had no idea how to work, how they calculate things. And I'm like frantically searching, trying to figure out. Granted, I just got like a big boy computer like 3 months ago.
Year.
I had one in college, but I haven't seen it since. I'm frantically searching, trying to figure out how to look up. I wanted to see the Patriots, like how they did on outside zone runs, and I couldn't figure it out. And there was so many stats I have never heard of trying to figure out what
Like
they meant.
the big ones like DVOA or something too.
Yeah, I don't know,
it's
but
like-
13-4.
That's your final total?
That's what I wanted.
Okay.
I think it's
4-2.
very gettable.
I think it's gettable.
I think it's very gettable.
13-4, and I think you're in the AFC, maybe the 2 seed.
But that's what I'm saying. Like this is a great year for them to have a
Hosted playoff
resurgence
games?
because a lot of the other teams that used to just be dominant just haven't. I mean, the Ravens are 1-5. The Chiefs are crawling their way back, but they didn't start off great. There's the Bengals lose Joe Burrow. You thought like, oh, maybe they'd be back. No, the AFC North looks abysmal. So.
The Bills dropped 2 games in a row. They go into a bye week. I mean,
Right.
we could round out the show right now talking about around the league, but like, what was wrong with Josh Allen on Monday Night Football and the Bills?
Look, this is what worries me about like when the Atlanta Falcons defense is a pretty good defense. They have some good playmakers. They have some good pass rushers. Michael Penix Jr. looked good. The Cleveland Browns defense is a very good defense. Yeah. I know the schedules look favorable, but they got to come and bring it.
They got some bad teams coming up.
Yep.
But just even bad okay, you play the Browns, right? You score 14 points, 16 points. They could sneak up and score 17. Yep. So, it's always a week-to-week thing, and it's always changing, and that's why the NFL's product is what it is. It's why everyone tunes in. It's why, you look last night, the Bears and Commanders. That was a great game. I think a lot of people would have said, oh, yeah, the Commanders are going to win. I didn't even watch any of that one because I was more interested to see what the Bills did versus the Commanders and Bears. But then it turns out that game was a lot more interesting. So it's just,
I think the way that the NFL is set up is it allows the league to be super competitive each and every year, because the way the draft is, there's not a lottery. There's the salary cap.
The way the schedules,
you have more ability to have more parity as opposed to maybe some of the other professional.
Well, and you're seeing that more in college football now, right?
Yeah, because of NIL, you're seeing portal,
Indiana. And I think Kirk Cignetti, not to make this college football, is a great coach, but when would you have ever thought Indiana goes to Oregon and beats?
And I was like, is Indiana good? And then they beat Oregon.
Yeah, so, and it's you look at the SEC. The SEC's a mess right now. It creates more parity, and you're seeing that on college football. It's different than the NFL because how it's done.
It is kind of dismantling the old – I shouldn't say the old, but the more recent dynasties, the Alabamas.
I think what you're seeing in football right now between college and the NFL is it's harder and harder to do these dynasty runs, and I think especially in college football, you're not going to see the Nick Sabans of Alabamas because in college football versus the pros. You got all these guys in college football, right? So, when Alabama had Derrick Henry, they had 4 more 5-star running backs behind him.
Josh Jacobs and Damian Harris.
Yeah, and all these guys versus, in the NFL, it's all right, you can't have Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and all you got one, hopefully.
Yep.
And so you're seeing some of that parity across college football too, I think, and that you've always seen in the NFL because of trades, salary cap, free agency, all these different things, and it's just going to make it harder and harder to have these generational runs, and I think that's why in the NFL you've always seen, look, if you got the quarterback, you're probably going to be a top dog, but that doesn't mean you're going to win every game, and it doesn't mean you're going to be in the Super Bowl every year. That's what we always talk about with Mahomes versus Brady. You got to wait to the end of Mahomes' career
100%
for the totality. If he goes to 8 Super Bowls and wins 5, it's a pretty close conversation at that point. But you got to wait till the end because to do it as the Patriots did for 20 years, is really, really impressive. So it's what makes the NFL such a great product because it is parity, and you have teams like last year, the Commanders. Yep. Right now, the Patriots are doing it, and it always changes. It changes week to week, year to year. But yeah, the schedule thing, you can go crazy looking at it.
Last thing I'll say on the schedule before we get out of here. We have 11 games left. There's 3 games. We're through week 6, so it's not a big sample size. There's 3 teams that are above 500 left on our schedule out of the 11 games. That's the Falcons, that's the Bills, and that's the Bucks.
13-4.
I love it.
Dude, that would be 2 games over what I thought the ceiling was, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, you said 8-11.
I said 8-11.
Which I think is...
People thought I was crazy. People thought I was legit crazy saying that the bottom, the floor was 8 wins.
You think they wanted less? Or
no,
more?
They thought that was there's no way 8 wins.
Oh no, the 8 win, that to me I was always in that 8 to 11 range, and
I took a lot of flack for that. So.
I think as a fan, right now it's okay to be disappointed if they win 8 games. At the start of the year, I think 8 games was a good benchmark, and if I was a fan, which I mean I am now, I sit on the couch and watch the games like the rest of us, I was happy with 8 wins.
All right, let's wrap it up. Another great win for the Patriots. Go down to New Orleans, handle business. They're going to have to do the same thing this week in Tennessee. Revenge game for Vrabel, which, look, a good team takes on the personality of their head coach. You know they're going to want to win this for Mike. But before we get out of here, you and I will be down in Foxborough this Sunday. They're having a little bit of a watch party, a tailgate, but not the typical tailgate. Why don't you tell the people what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, look, Hoy, you obviously have dogs. I have dogs. We love our animals. The Patriots, you saw some of this in training camp. Yep. They had the pet adoption. You had guys walking out with puppies at training camp and stuff, which was super cool. So it's this Sunday. It starts at 11:30. It's a tailgate and watch party that is a pet adoption for the Patriots. And anyone's invited. You can come. There's going to be food trucks, food. You're encouraged to bring chairs, your own blankets. Obviously, dress warm. You never know what the weather's going to be like in New England. But me and you will be there. Come out, meet us, get to see some of the dogs. Maybe, bring home a dog for the family, the wife, the kids. I don't know about you, but I love the videos of where it's like my dad swore we couldn't adopt a dog, and then it's like the dad with the dog like 3 months later, and the dog's like laying on him. Yeah, so it's a great event. There's going to be a lot of fun activities to do for the family. And then obviously it's for a great cause, trying to help, animals, get them out of shelters. Yep. So come out, check it out. We'll be there. It starts at 11:30. Obviously the game follows at 1, and hopefully we'll cheer on the Patriots to another victory.
Yeah, so maybe someone will go home with a dog and a Patriots W, sit there, watch the game, and
I don't know. Does that get better on a Sunday?
Go home with a dog and a Patriots win. I don't know if it can get any better. So we'll be there. As David said, we love our dogs, we love our animals, and it's a great opportunity. If you can do it and you can take a dog home and get him out of a shelter, it'd be a great Sunday for you.
This is for the dads out there too. The wife wants to go apple picking. She wants to do something as a family. This is a good way
there you go.
To spend a Sunday for a great cause as a family.
Yeah, kids can play with the puppies. You could watch football. I mean,
I don't know if it gets better.
On that, David.
Yeah, I try.
All right.
That's a wrap, guys. Thank y'all. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast on NBC Sports Boston, 6 o'clock Wednesday night. Hoy, Danny, you guys are both dead to me for that cruel. I thought we were playing a joke on Danny, and you guys turned it around and played it on me. I don't forget that.
That's what you get, David. I knew
How is that coming. What I get?
I knew it was coming. You guys were ragging on me in the group text. I won't send the NBC team the screenshots of our group text to see what you guys were saying.
Oh, yeah. Please
Will you do say that?
That's private.
Hold on.
There's an HR department here because I will send them.
Hold on. Can we at least tell the people that Brian was very happy you weren't going to be here? And I did. What did I say, Danny?
You did say, David. Brian was very excited. He sent 3 gifts in a row about how it's going to be our best episode ever. And then David did say,
technically it kind of was. You came in late.
Thanks, Danny. I did say I would miss you. I will miss Danny.
You said that.
All right.
Yeah. But, Phil Perry, he's definitely better than me.
He's a pro.
I'm all you guys got.
Yeah, but Phil Perry might know more than me because he covers the team. So I can't have Phil Perry. I'll get me out of a job.
I love it. See you guys in San Francisco.
All right.
That's right, there.